All right, Scorpio. So this is your individual reading for the transit of Uranus through Taurus, which which spans 2000 from Uranus is in Taurus now and will be in Taurus from 2018 until 2025. And so you can listen to this forecast over the next 8 years and see how things progress. I'm sure it'll change in meaning as life moves on for you. And of course, listen to your sign and your rising sign. And I've also recorded an overview of this transit. Sorry, my hair is all a mess. I've recorded an overview of this transit. I'll add a link below so you can check that out and apply what I'm saying over there to this as well. This is, but here we go. This is your forecast. So, Scorpio, for you, this transit takes place through your seventh house, and your seventh house rules your relationships, all your one to one partnerships. Uh, Traditionally, this is the house that rules marriage. So, your one to one relationships as well as the legally binding relationships that you have, perhaps, and that are socially binding. And now, with Taurus on your descendant, which is your relationship zone, you are very you once you're in a relationship, you're one of the most loyal and committed people. I mean, Scorpios get a bad reputation, but the truth is that Scorpios can be very loyal and very committed. uh, and they want the same from their partners as well. They expect the same loyalty and commitment as from their partners, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. But what's happening now is, as Uranus enters your seventh house, things are shaking up. There are unpredictable developments taking place where no matter what your and of course I'm no matter what your relationship situation, uh, whether you're single, recently in a relationship, just meeting someone, or in a committed relationship. And of course this affects your other one-to-one relationships as well, your business partnerships, as well as the people you relate with in your life. So this goes on all levels, but things are shaking up. There are unexpected new relationships forming now, as well as there may be sudden developments taking place in long-standing relationships that shake things up. You're learning new things. Your partners are changing, and Uranus now moving through Taurus over the next 8 years is going to push your boundaries. Your relationships are going to push your boundaries to ask you to dig deeper and ask yourself, what do you want from your relationships? What do you need from others to feel safe, secure, as well as have the freedom to be yourself? Because you can't make anyone love you, nor can you force anyone to. You can't. And Scorpio, if you haven't figured this out by now, you can't control anybody. You can barely control yourself. So this is not about control, and Uranus is going to ask you to. It's really asking you to let go of control. That's the lesson here, where you don't need to control anything or anyone or any situation, especially any situation that seems to be shaky, or, if you're afraid of losing something, you need not be afraid of losing anyone or anything through this time. The more loosely you hold on to people, the more freedom you give people to be who they are, the more you'll, automatically, the relationships that are real, you can deepen those connections, and the ones that aren't real will just kind of fall away. And again, you don't need to worry about losing anything that you value or anyone that's important to you. But the important thing is that you not cling. I mean, Taurus is a very creative sign, and which means, and there's a new moon at the time of this ingress, so which means that you can create and attract and gravitate towards and magnetize the relationships that you want in your world. But And there is a lot of opportunity for you to form very lucrative partnerships. But it is all about freedom and you being secure in yourself first. You've already learned lessons of self worth with Saturn moving through your second house over the past 2.5 years. And now, as you enter this new cycle, remember all of these lessons. And whether it's a new relationship or an existing relationship, it's important that, over time, people change, you will change. You've got to allow for space for people to grow as much as you are growing, and you're growing exponentially right now. So it's important that you allow space for that too. There's there's a story that Alan Watts once. I was listening to an Alan Watts lecture, and he was talking about um, a little girl who had a bunny rabbit, or just she just got a new bunny rabbit, baby bunny, and she was so happy to have this rabbit that on the way home in the car she was holding it and she was squeezing it because she loved it so much, and she was so happy to have this bunny that she killed it. And I know that's a little morbid, but you're Scorpio, you can handle it and you get it. You can't smother your relationships now, and it's only in allowing others freedom to be who they are can your relationships really blossom. And this doesn't mean that you be treated as a pushover, or which is not possible anyway, but or that you have no power in situations that are playing out. But that's the thing, you've got to go back inward to recognize your power and what you can do in a situation, which is you have a choice now where you invest your energy and the commitments that you want to deepen. And that means digging deep for your values and going beyond the surface in your relationships to see the heart of someone or the heart of something and the true value of something and true value of what is being exchanged in a connection. So if you're feeling out of control, then you can't control somebody else, but and if you're in a push and pull power struggle, then you need to let go. Let go of the rope, come back to yourself, find your center, reclaim your power, and then you can decide what you want to do about something and how you want to proceed. And trust a natural process. If you're enjoying this time, by all means go ahead and enjoy it. If there's something that's if you're experiencing something that you're not enjoying and is not a pleasant experience, then again, it's a time to look inward, because our relationships are at best a mirror. This is the first and seventh house axis. The seventh house is relationships, and the first house is the self, which is you. So you can't control anybody else, and your relationships are a mirror. So if you don't like what you're attracting and what's in your world, it's a time to look inward and see what you need to change and fix within yourself and what you need to let go of. Especially if, in long standing relationships or commitments, if things are shaking, if there is change, you've got to allow for this change to happen. Change is the only constant. And that's what Taurus Scorpio teaches us at best. So, how do you keep your love? Keep, keep let love be the foundation of your relationship, and let your relationship be rooted in love, and then let everything else fall away. You can be forming very lucrative connections right now, um, and even emotionally there's a lot of love for you to be found. Currently you have Jupiter. At the time of this ingress, Jupiter is in your sign, and Jupiter is also the ruler of your fifth house, which is the house of true love. So whether you're already in a relationship or not, and even if you're not looking for one, the fact is that there is love in your life and in your heart. And it begins with you sharing that and not being afraid to share that. But then when you share it, you have to let go of expectations of how it will be received or what comes back to you. Because then you're on shaky ground. True love asks for nothing, and love, it's if it's, as the quote from the Prophet goes by Khalil Gibran, love if it finds you worthy. Think not you can direct the course of love, for love if it's worthy finds directs your course, or something like that. That's it. All you can do is create space for the kind of relationship that you want to attract, and be very clear on that, in your mind, and then not compromise your values, go beyond what someone looks like, or what, you know the superficial stuff of what a relationship should look like. I mean, we're all redefining that on a collective level, but especially for you, Uranus is all about the unconventional and different. So what matters is now how something is working for you, and you are redefining patterns of relationships, your existing patterns, the patterns you've seen growing up through parents in society, uh, or models of relationship that you've had. Also, when it comes to expectations, be conscious not to project your worst expectations either, because sometimes we're afraid to not expect the best because we don't want to be hurt, and then we expect the worst. Be conscious not to do that, because you will get, in a sense, you get what you expect, but then again, with Uranus, it's always unexpected. So the point is to have no expectations. And Uranus for the past 8 years has been in Aries, which was your sixth house, and your sixth house relates with healing. And now Chiron has entered Aries, so it's important that you remember the lessons of the last 8 years. And the past 8 years have asked you to become conscious of your wounds, uh, and when it comes, well, on a physical level and all of that work as well, but in terms of your relationships, the sixth house transit, Uranus through your sixth house over the past 8 years, has asked you to become aware of your wounds, and has awoken you to where you need healing, or where you need to heal. And now, as Chiron moves through that part of your chart and Uranus moves through Taurus, this is a time to keep awareness of the lessons you've learned, and so you don't project them. And you don't have to be afraid to be repeating patterns, because that's what happens is often, you'll end up projecting your fears onto a situation, and at the first sign of first red flag, you will run. And I'm not saying that you don't pay attention to red flags, but it's more that you're aware of your own energy and of your wounds, so you don't project them and then allow people to reveal themselves. You've got to value what you have to give others as well. So with Uranus, there will be some, you know, there are unexpected developments taking place in relationships, whether there is a new relationship forming or a current relationship that's changing form, or whatever's going on within your partnerships. It all actually really, it's not about the other, it's about you. And that's where you'll find, the more you can be centered and the more you can surrender while keeping clarity on your values and what you want, you can choose where you want to invest. Yeah, the more you let go of expectations, you could be more than pleasantly surprised with the way things unfold. So you can have, to sum it up, Scorpio, really, you can have what you want. You can have the kind of relationship that you want, and a relationship that really works for you, and that brings out the best in you, and where you bring out the best in another. And what together you can, what you accomplish as a team is greater, is the sum of what you do together is greater than what you could do on your own, because you are whole. You need no one to complete you. And the more you recognize that, you'll attract partners who are equal to you and who are standing in their own power as well. And then it need not be a power struggle, it can be a coming together of forces, because you, Scorpio, I mean, Taurus Scorpio is one of the most powerful axes of the zodiac. And when the two of you can come together, you can move mountains, you can change the world. So it's a matter of you now finding your center and recognizing what you value in your relationships, recognizing how much you have to give others, valuing yourself, and then being open to the people that are entering your life now, because there's going to be a lot of new people entering your life over the next 8 years, and there might be some people disappearing from your life. And sure, this is also going to teach you the fragility of life in the most beautiful way. And sure, sometimes life is bittersweet, but recognize that nothing lasts forever other than love, and true love never dies. So it's the love in the end, as the Beatles sang, it's, the love you take is equal to the love you make. So love yourself first and foremost. Jupiter is retrograde in your sign. Love yourself first and recognize how much you have to give, and then be willing to give. And you're going to attract and create and nurture your relationships, the ones that are important to you. Because then when you love yourself, you're automatically going to attract people who love you for you and who see the best in you just as you see the best in them. And you can bring out the best in them. And one last thing before I go, on the deepest level, as I mentioned earlier, your relationships are a mirror. This is the first seventh axis. And ultimately, this journey of life, it comes back to self realization. That is the ultimate destination of any soul. And we can take as long as we want to get there. But now, as this transit progresses, you have a real opportunity where your relationships, because they're being such a mirror, and Uranus can be such an awakener, and it's breaking through boundaries and pushing your boundaries. The deeper you go, this is your test and challenge to learn unconditional love. That does not mean unconditional giving. Boundaries are important, and sometimes we have to be detached, and we have to let go of people even if we love them, and let them learn their own lessons, or let them have their own path. So the lesson for you is unconditional love, where you love because you love, not because of the other person. And as Uranus moves through the seventh house, your relationship zone, there can be a moment of breakthrough and realization when you realize that there is no separation between you and another. And this separation that we perceive between each other is really only in our minds. In reality, all is one. And when you can have that sense of oneness, when you experience that sense of oneness, it's not a mental thing, it's a visceral thing. And over the next 8 years, if you're open to it, you can have that experience. It starts with you loving yourself, and then you're going to attract others like bees to honey. All right, that's all I want to say to you for now, Scorpio. Of course, this was a general reading and totally from the planets to you. So I hope you found this useful, and I wish you the best over the next 8 years, and I wish you all the love. And I didn't talk about, oh, this is what happens. I always think of something when I'm about to be done. Apply everything that I said in terms of your business relationships and money, please. Because I don't want to go on forever. But when it comes to, even your financial partnerships, because Taurus rules money. So, and maybe partnerships where, you're mixing business and pleasure, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just about having clarity on what you want and very honest communication for personal relationships as well as your business partnerships. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you so much. Well, I'll sum it up with this. It's honest communication is important, which means in being able to talk about sex, being able to talk about money, being able to bear not just your body, but your heart and your soul and your deepest, most intimate secrets. And this comes with trust, and trust is built through time and consistency. And if someone is consistently showing you that they can't be trusted, then believe that. And if someone is consistently a certain way, and then maybe sometimes they're triggered, or maybe sometimes they're having a bad day, then understand that. And when it comes to financial partnerships, you know, you've got to know your attachments to money. And you can't use people. People have a lot to give you, and you have a lot to give people, and there are really lucrative and blossoming connections here. But it's about an equal exchange. It's about valuing the intangible in another and recognizing they are a part of you. So in some way, if there's an imbalance, it affects you as well. And you can hold on to resentments a lot, Scorpio. And I'm mixing around a little bit, but I'm just trying to wrap this up, which is you've got to learn to let go of things a lot easier, a lot faster. You learn. And when it comes to money, you know, again, you choose where you invest and how much you invest, whether it's love, money, time, energy, whatever it is. You can't control another. You choose what you invest and you choose what you nurture. And that has to be based on your values and clear communication so that you know where you stand. And you may not always know where you stand because things are always changing. And that's why it's important to have that open channel of communication with another. So, okay, I'll sum it up there. But yeah, I hope you found this useful. And if you want a deeper, more in depth look at your transits and how this transit is playing out for you, and who might be coming into your life, there's be prepared to be surprised. Uh, Email me. I'll put my information down below, but email me and we'll do a personal consultation, look at your chart, and see what's going on. And I'd love to work with you. All right, thank you for watching, and check out my website at cosmicdiaries.com, and do let me know if you enjoy these videos, like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll be back with more soon. Thank you. Bye for now.